Hey y'all, welcome back to Babeinlibrary. It's your girl Lisa, and today we're going to talk about 3 of my recent reads that are all arcs that I've read from that have severely unhinged behavior. So if you're joining me, know that this is pure dark romance. There is not a single light, fluffy, cozy, good feeling romance that you're going to get out of this recommendation. If you are looking for that, know that I have plenty of that on my channel, but this right here is for my dark romance readers that love chaos, love being dark, disturbed, but delicious. If that is you, please continue to watch the video. Know that you need to be mindful of your content or trigger warnings because these books that I have to recommend you today definitely go deep into the darkness. But I love these authors, as hence me being on their ARC teams and wanting to read more from them, gobbling up everything that they give me. The first book I have to recommend to you is by Elizabeth Stevens. Now, you may know her from her Very Mate series. This is an alien romance series that she is blowing the charts up with this one. So if you are maybe not looking for something that is fantasy, but sci-fi is your bag, I'm going to tell you to pick up her Very Mate. But what I have read from her recently is Dark City Omega, which is a fantasy dark romance that deals with Omegaverse. So I've got a couple of buzzwords for you before I get into the synopsis. So this is a fated mates book that has forced proximity because it is captor-captive. Be mindful that there is miscommunication tropes, but they have the my wife, right? The my wife trope gets me every time, hits me right in the feels. So it has my wife, hate to love. Again, it is Omegaverse with a scarred hero. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, let me just go ahead and tell you about the book. We are dealing with our female main character, Echo. Now, Echo is a Omega, and she has been trying to keep her Omega status hidden. So she has been masking herself, surrounding herself in Trash City, which one of the things that I love about this series is that Elizabeth Stevens did an amazing job world building. Like, this world is so fleshed out, it is so deep and intricate and involved. There's different factions for different types of Omegas or Alphas, and you get to really see that Elizabeth Stevens, for this to be her first time doing fantasy as well as her first time doing Omegaverse, she crushed it because she took the time to have the care and the details. But back to Echo, she has been running for 6 years. It is one of those things where she doesn't necessarily want to be defined as an Omega. Everyone starts off as a Beta, and so she has been living with the Beta pack until she cannot hide any longer. And so what she's been doing is kind of trying to surround herself with people that can throw off her scent. And she even one day rolled around in trash just to make sure that she could cover her Omega scent. So Echo knows that if she is identified as an Omega, she is going to be claimed by either an Alpha or a Berserker. So there is a hierarchy. As I stated, everyone is born into the society as a Beta, and from there you either ascend. So you can ascend to an Omega, which is highly sought after. The next tier would be you could ascend into an Alpha, or the top of the food chain is a Berserker. So Echo has really been fighting to make sure that she could stay as a Beta because Betas are typically overlooked. They don't really have as much significance in the world as an Omega does. Now, as her Omega status, one of the things that is special about Omegas in this particular world is that each Omega has a special, unique power. But Echo doesn't know her power at the time, and she does not gain her power until she meets her mate, which is Adam. Now, Adam is a Berserker. He is the Berserker of Dark City, and so one of the things that's important about him is that he is from the town that has like motorcycle gangs. And so he is the top of the top from his particular status. Now, he is a scarred hero. As I stated, everyone starts off as a Beta. And so when he was a Beta, he was taken advantage of him. And you find that he has a sibling. His sister was also taken advantage of, and she was an Omega. And so you get to learn a lot about Adam's backstory, why he is the way that he is, why he's very protective over Echo, why he's concerned about what's happening with Omegas. And ultimately, this has a lot of political intrigue as well. As I mentioned, with it being Omegaverse, there are certain things that are at play when it comes to whether or not betas are being treated fairly, whether or not Omegas really truly wanted to be hunted for, as well as there's some mystery and intrigue that goes with it as well. So there's more than just the dark romance. There is a mystery that why is Echo so important? Why are people in this book trying to kill her? And Adam has to protect her, and he has to figure out why she's so powerful. Because one of the things about Echo is that she, unlike many Omegas, can push back on being claimed and push back on being controlled. One of the things you learn about in Omegaverse is that Omegas desire alphas, and Omegas desire to submit. It is a dominant, submissive type of relationship. But in this particular series, Echo is able to fight back, and she is able to withstand compulsion. And so that becomes more intriguing for Adam as this goes along. Now, similarly, one of the next arcs that I read, which not only is the book unhinged, but the author is unhinged, and I love her dearly for that. I read Darling Nikki by Kenya Gorey-Bell. Chef's kiss. I swear, Kenya has done the unthinkable in making me a small town romance fan, specifically for the Blood Legacy series that she has. Now, this is an interconnected series that, again, has some tropes. So be mindful that there is a cheating trope in here. It is a age gap. Forbidden romance. It does have marriage of convenience. It has a possessive / jealous hero, small town bully situation. So again, if that is something that interests you, I will highly recommend Darling Nikki. Now, this is the third in the Blood Legacy series. First is Bad Guy. Second is Easy Like Sunday Morning. And then you can get to Darling Nikki. Me personally, I would encourage you to read them in order. But if you just want to jump right into Darling Nikki, know that there may be a little bit of contextual information that you may be missing, but these two characters have a book on their own that is absolutely phenomenal. This centers Nikki was an orphan, right? And so how she meets the male main character, Matthias, is that her parents are deceased and she is running away and trying from the circus life. But she was told by her father, with his dying wish, for her to go to his side of the family, learn who she comes from, and be surrounded by her people. When she gets there, she realizes that she is really the oddball out. They have been living with each other in this small town. They're very accustomed. And a lot of the things that she learned in the circus life and why her parents were in it is because they had mental health issues. And so she always felt like my people are my circus people, and she couldn't be with them anymore. And so she is traveling down a dark road one day, and she is actually hit because she's walking in the dark by Matthias. Matthias is like, oh, hell, I'm under the influence. I believe I just hit a person. Let me check on them. Let me go out and take them out to eat, try to smooth things over, because I'm going places, right? My father has big dreams and desires for me. I'm supposed to go to law school. I have to go into politics at a future state. I can't have this on my record. When he realizes that the person that he hit is just a young girl, he's like, okay, let me figure out if I can smooth things over, right? And that's just, true transparency of how they meet each other. Matthias senses something in Nikki, and he's like, hey, you don't have a place to go. And this is before he knows who she is and knows how he's connected, because this is a rivals family situation. They live in a small town, which is the Shelby Love small town. And so Nikki is a Love and Matthias is a Shelby. And this entire time they've been fighting and battling, but Matthias doesn't really care about that. He actually despises his father. He is also a scarred hero. So I do want to make mention of that as a potential trigger as well. This has a lot of heavy content. Make no mistakes. Please make sure that you, as you're reading this, you're looking into the content and trigger warnings. Love Kenya, but let me tell you, she goes, black, pitch dark in this particular book. When Matthias finds out that Nikki is a love, that does not deter him because, again, he is working to dismantle everything that his father's done. But he knows that if his father finds out who Nikki is, he will use her to his advantage and he will break her. So he's like, okay, let me go ahead and house her up. Let me go ahead, and because I like her conversation, I am intrigued by her. I'm sparked by her. He puts her in his grandmother's cottage, which is on his father's land. And from there, they just have a friendship. Again, at the time when he meets Nikki, she is underage. And so he is like, I can't have any more of a relationship with her other than a friendship. Also, Matthias is preparing to be engaged to someone that his family has set up for him. As I'm talking about this, it reminds me of one of my favorite books, which is Stolen Soulmate by Mary Catherine Gebhardt. This is what I would consider is very much like Darling Nikki, but a little bit darker. So if you like The Stolen Soulmate, I will tell you that you more than likely will like Darling Nikki. In this has a lot of mystery. This has, again, political intrigue, similar to, as I mentioned with Dark City Omega. There is also a use of little wife, very much like the my wife trope. This is marriage of convenience because you realize there are a number of things going on where Matthias actually has to switch gears and he is forced to blame Nikki. He is forced to be in a situation, and because his hand is forced, he then feels betrayed by her because they've had such a friendship and such a connection to where he almost starts to take on this bully personality. So if bully is your thing, this may be the one for you. The last and final Unhinged arc has, I would say, the most unhinged female main character there is. I struggled. If me and this character sat down together, we wouldn't see eye to eye, but I respect her. So that is charming as hell. And when I tell you chaotic queen, Mara is. So this is insta-love, why choose polyamorous relationship that has religious context. So please be mindful. Blair and Mara are the daughters of the devil. So if that is something that you would want to stay away from, I completely understand. But if you're looking forward to something that has spooky season, this is the book for you. This is the romance between Mara. As I stated, she is the heir apparent to hell. She is absolutely insane. She has a mean, jealous streak. She is self-absorbed. She is a brat with severe daddy issues. She is a jealous and possessive female main character. And she is also a badass with very clear intentions, and you will respect her. As much as I don't necessarily like her personally, I respected the story because not only does she give you those unhinged behaviors that you're like, if it wasn't you, I'd root for you. She also has a great picker when it comes to the men that is in her life. So my main male is going to be Elvor. Elvor is just chef kiss. He is a prince of the Fae realm. He is the bestie to Lilith. He also runs the torture pit. He is a silent, broody hero that is absolutely obsessed with Mara and will do anything that she asks. Even if that means cutting off his own finger, he will do that because he loves her that much. Now, Elvor also has a relationship with Judd, and Judd is also in love with Mara. So that is where the polyamorous comes in. Judd is a tattooed soft boy. When you think of members of hell, he is not the guy that you're going to be thinking of. Now, he is a oxymoron because, again, he's tattooed. He is a former drug dealer, but he is also so soft and so sweet. He is caring. He is insecure. He is just desiring someone to love and take care of him. He is the submissive in this entire relationship, and he is the soft to everyone's dark. And so if you're looking for that little bit of sliver of hope or light, Judd is what's going to get you through in this story. And then lastly, you've got some people's favorite, which is Toth. Toph he is the right-hand man to Lucifer. So he pretty much keeps everything on track. He is the strategist. He is the one that gives Mara grief. He is the one that he doesn't necessarily want to be claimed, but at the end of the day, everyone falls victim to Mara. And so he just is the tree that fell the hardest, and he fell the loudest. One of the things that Sarah does exceptionally well in this is that she gives a lot of purpose as to the chaos and the behind the scenes. As I mentioned, you get to see that Mara has daddy issues, and so she struggles to want to find love and want to be respected, but also knowing that this is her first time coming into having a corporal body. And so she experiencing things for the very first time, getting to enjoy really having her own body, having her own say. And she actually has more power than anyone combined in hell, possibly even more than Lucifer. You get to learn about her lineage, so you get to see who she is in comparison to her mother, which is a mystery that we get to figure out, and how that really plays a part into her identity. So if you're looking for unhinged female main character, you are looking for a polyamorous relationship that has soft and hard, I'm telling you, check out Sarah Blue's Charming as Hell. But again, I will tell you to start with Charming Your Dad, which is my favorite, and let me know what you think. Leave me a wolf emoji for Dark City Omega, or leave me a boxing emoji for Darling Nikki, whichever one intrigues you the most. And I'll talk to you all next time. Bye.